on with you? How you doing? What's new in the neighborhood? Got a lot to talk about, and we're going to get it in. So I'm glad that you are here because it's going to be interesting for you to see exactly what we got to talk about because we got a guest today. There is a bill that we ended up talking about on yesterday that was being put forth by one of the good old state representatives up in Baton Rouge that everybody was like, what bill? Yeah, he was trying to get rid of the fund that paid the people that have been put in a position of, well, you did this crime, put you in jail, and you end up in there for 40 some daggone years. And then all of a sudden, the Innocence Project comes through and finds out that you did not do the crime, even though you had been telling them for 40 some years, you lost all your appeals or whatever, and you were just sitting there 46 years. Here comes the Innocence Project and finds out that you did not do the crime. And so they have to let you out. So you have lost 46 years of your life on a false conviction. And the state is saying that they should not have to pay into the fund that gives you money because they put you in jail on a false pretense. I think it's like $40,000 a year. So these folks that have been exonerated are looking for that money. They're like, y'all need to pay me because I tried to tell you I didn't do it. And they finally figured it out. So you get exonerated. But wait a minute. There's some money that is supposed to be able to say, hey, we know that you've been exonerated, but psych, we're not going to pay you $1. And I was sitting back and saying to myself, what would stop anybody from doing that? What would stop them from doing it? Now that I know that I wouldn't have to pay you $1 daggone dollar, what would stop somebody from putting you in jail just because they said, I can put you in jail? And you sitting back and saying to yourself, well, I'm going to get paid. No, that's not enough money. You have lost, Jesus, how much money? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, many hours, lifelong friends, family members that you can't see, your freedom. 46 years this man was in jail. He's 72 now. How you expect him to get out and go get a job? What are you going to do? Y'all know you already got problems with older folks going into the workforce in the first place. He's 72. So here comes the Innocence Project. And the Innocence Project does everything to get you out. And they do. Because they got all the proof. They know how to take care of the court situations. And they got to let you out. So they let you out. Now you got a state representative that says, hey, we shouldn't be responsible as a state to have to pay you because we made the wrong conviction. What? Yeah, we shouldn't have to pay you nothing. we shouldn't have to give you $1. And I said to myself, maybe we should get a whole bunch of folks calling to say this is a bad bill. You shouldn't try to be putting this into effect. This is a bad bill, and you shouldn't even be putting this in place. So that's why I decided that I was going to give out the telephone number yesterday to the state representative. You said, what? I said we gave out the telephone number to the state representative. And the man that had been convicted for the 46 years incarcerated was incarcerated when he was 19 years old. Right now, he's 72. But he has been exonerated, and he was finally awarded compensation for the wrongful conviction in prison by the state Supreme Court. After going through several appeals, the Joneses say that their compensation has helped them build a life. The man does have a wife. They received 2 of the possible 10 payments. It's helped tremendously, says Miss Mary, who is the wife. With the help of the compensation fund, they're able to get a home, which was on their bucket list. And while they're on their way doing the things that they always wanted to do, that payment could be in jeopardy, right? Well, let me be the first to tell y'all that Representative Nicholas Muscarello was bombarded yesterday with your telephone calls. What? Yes, he was. He was bombarded yesterday with your telephone calls. Because you all called and told him that he needed to drop that and that it was a bad bill. I was like, what? Yeah. Because he's in Hammond. And so we could call him Nicholas Muscarello. So from what I'm understanding, for all the people that have called me, they already called me and told me that he has reneged and taken that bill out of being voted on, which is good. But we still going to talk about why stuff like this comes up. Who's walking it to the table? For what reason are we even having to go through this? Why? And it's being supported by your Attorney General, Liz Merrill, saying that we should not have this fund because y'all don't need to do this because, I'm like, wait a minute. Because of what? We don't need this fund? You don't think that we need this fund? You really don't think that we need this fund? So, let me see what it says here. Because I thought to myself, I was like, if you don't have this fund, then why even worry about it? Because now I can put you in jail and they can never get you out and you don't have no reason to get out. And I'm supported by the Attorney General. And Liz Merrill says the taxpayers in North Louisiana shouldn't have to pay for the wrongful convictions of a local elected official in South Louisiana or vice versa. The current system has misaligned the responsibility and put it on the backs of the taxpayers all over the state for the conduct of some individual elected officials. We're working closely with lawmakers and stakeholders as the bill moves its way through the legislature. Well, because when you go to court, it don't say North Louisiana versus. It says the state of Louisiana versus. Correct? I didn't hear it say just Shreveport versus. I keep hearing the state of Louisiana versus. So the bill is gone. The bill is gone because there were so many people that were complaining. I don't think that they could. I don't think that they could say, "Oh, why are you standing with that? For what reason? For what reason?" Anybody could have made that telephone call, including you yesterday. I'm Trace.
Hey, how you doing, Gerard?
What's
Listen, when I
happening,
heard you say that
stranger?
last part, I hurried up and jumped on the phone because I want to say this. Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
You should. Are they sure they want to go into? We don't want this part of the state to pay for that part of the state. Are they sure about that?
That's the statement that came from your Attorney General, Liz Merrill.
Is she sure she won't play Big Bank take Little Bank with New Orleans as
E-
much as we pay for this whole state?
Evidently, she does.
Because if we go that route, then New Orleans got a whole bunch of stuff they can say they don't want to pay for around the
Yeah.
state, right?
Yeah.
So if we open up that can of worms, baby, I know my New Orleans, what you call that, representatives, better start writing up all kinds of
Yeah.
legislation talking about what
Yeah.
New Orleans
I'm with
don't
you on
want to
that.
pay for.
I'm with you on that one. Now,
That's all I heard. When you said that, I said, oh, I know they don't want to play that kind of game, how we fund the whole state.
so this bill to me was wrong from the beginning, from the get go, and
Definitely wrong.
I'm
I
trying to
don't even
think.
understand
I'm trying to
how a
think.
human being could come up with a.
I was trying to think if anytime anybody put a bill together says I'm gonna put you in jail,
And
and
I
they
ain't
don't
got to
have
pay
no
for it when I find out
repercussions.
you wrong.
So there are no repercussions at all. Oh, we made a mistake. All right, let him out.
It's bad enough that they don't go to jail for putting the wrong people in jail when you find out that they did it on purpose. It's bad enough that charges don't be filed,
And
let alone you ain't going to pay for it.
that's what I'm thinking. That if you put somebody in jail and you do it purposely, holding some type of evidence or
Mhm.
withholding it from
Mhm.
in any official case or something, you should be the person that go to jail.
Definitely should be charges, and we see all the time that they do not charge them.
Nope.
You know,
And let them
so
die.
not only you don't want no charges, you don't want to pay, but I just don't understand how a human being could come up with, I'm going to take the years of your life from you and don't compensate you
And
when I find out, that was wrong.
and
But when
Wilbert
you say
Jones is
they're justifying it by they don't want to pay for something in New Orleans, I'm like, hold up. Hold up. Hold
now
up, baby.
now Wilbert Jones is 72. He was in
Oh,
jail,
man.
incarcerated for 46 years. He went when he was 19 years old.
And so he don't even have no Social Security. So what he supposed to do? He can't even pull out Social Security.
Mm-mm. He ain't work.
Yeah. You took all his working years from him.
I'm like, how do you lose the prime of your years and then tell me, oh, we made a mistake. We sorry. See you later.
Oops, my bad. But
Oops.
you know what? That's what they did us for slavery. Really? They said, oh, you know what? It's over. Y'all can leave.
Yeah.
That's why they got away with it for slavery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it ended. We ain't going to tell them until we have to tell them. But then once we tell them, bye, y'all. Bye.
Well, the head of the Innocence Project is coming on 5 to talk about this. She told me basically that the bill, I don't know what happened, but they pulled it. I said, I know what happened. Our folks started calling. So,
Yeah.
all right.
That's a good
to
thing.
hear from you. I ain't
All
know
right.
where you was.
I know. We've been missing each other.
Yes, indeed. Good to hear from you, though.
All right,
I'll
then.
talk to you later. All right, y'all, we got
Right.
to take a break here. We'll take a break. We'll come back, have some more conversation, take some more of your telephone calls. 504-582-9422 is the number.
New Orleans never sleeps, and neither does WBOK. Now, every voice, every moment, and every show is in your pocket. Search WBOK Media wherever you get podcasts. Download, share, rate us 5 stars. Because when you support us, you amplify Black voices and the New Orleans culture.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
The New Schools for New Orleans team would like to send a huge congratulations to all of our graduates across New Orleans public schools. We wish you all the best on the next chapter in your life. Note that you are destined for greatness.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. We are about, 37 minutes away from our guest, just in case you did not know. Yes, we do have guests on today. Ms. G. Park, who is the executive director of the Innocence Project of New Orleans. She is the director of the Innocence Project. And I had to tell her what a lot of you did on yesterday. And the reason I know that a lot of you made the telephone call on yesterday is because I've had some conversation with those from the area of Baton Rouge, the state capital anyway, who have called to say, would you please tell your people stop calling? I said, excuse me? Hey, could you please have your people to stop calling the number? They said they're getting the number. They got the number from you to call. I said, they did. Dayline. No, I didn't. I ain't say that. I said, so they're calling you because they're concerned about this, trying to get away from the fund, trying to get away from taking care of what might be the only compensation that some of these folks would have due to their age, due to illness, and due to the fact that they're going to have something on their record for a while. House Bill 673, it would stop that altogether. I'm like, So wouldn't you appreciate the fact that you've got people that are concerned that are calling you to talk about this bill? Well, what? So I was looking at one of the, let me see, it's Lafayette Parish. I'm looking at one of the television stations, KATC. KATC has the story where they are talking about this bill has been dropped, which is good. It really is good. So I have requested not only for the Innocence Project to come on, so the Innocence Project is going to come on at 5 o'clock. Tell you that again. But I also request the author of House Bill 673, who's Representative Nicholas Muscarello. Now, well, Gerard, they dropped it. Why are you bringing him back? Why are you trying to put him on? For a reason. Just because you pulled it for today don't necessarily mean that it won't show up again later on. Just because you pulled it to not be voted on today don't mean that you ain't going to put it back to be voted on tomorrow. So House Bill 673, I got a problem with you. And if I got to pick up the phone and call them, bitch, hell, yell, whatever, that's what we going to do. And I'm glad that y'all can stick your chest out and say that y'all complained on yesterday. Stick your chest out, because that's what happened. Nobody was paying attention to this bill. Then all of a sudden, everybody was paying attention to this bill. And now that everybody's paying attention to the bill, it looked like, and I'm going to give him a chance to speak out about this, it looked like Representative Nicholas Muscarello wanted to throw the rock and then hide his hand until this hit Front Street. Now, one of the questions that I will have, and I got to look at it and look it up, and I'm hoping that everybody else is doing the research as well. Who are usually the people? Who are the people that this usually affects? I'll wait. Want me to give you the number? 504-582-9422. I know everybody be sitting back waiting for you to say it. But no, I need y'all to get your mind right. Who does really affect? Who are the folks that you see that are getting exonerated? I don't see them. We made a mistake about you. We made a mistake. Did you really? Did you really? Y'all think about it for a minute. Who is usually the folks that are getting exonerated? And for what reason? Mr. Elmo.
Well, that's a good question. 99 out of 10 is Afro American men, and more than likely, we don't have a lot of money, and we don't have good representation with a attorney, man. Let's face it, that's been the case for years. So that's going to affect us more than anything else. And I always find how the system is. I would imagine, Gerard, and I'm not a racist one bit, but I call a spade a spade. If the majority of the people was white men, I'm sure you had people who would rebel and say, "Oh my God, let's make sure they compensated." But with us, it's amazing about we as a people. We always are discriminated, stepped on, and spit on, and everything else. So again, if they had more white men that was involved in a situation where they didn't get representation, and they was formerly at one time getting compensated, not they won't be. It's just amazing how the shoe when it's on the white foot how reaction is, and when it's on our foot how the reaction is.
Mm-hmm. So when I look at these issues, and I look at who's being exonerated, usually when I look around and say, exonerated, that seems to be a word that too many black folks know. When we say, and we understand what the meaning of exonerated is, because usually the person that has to be exonerated is usually exonerated years down the line after they find out that the person really didn't do it. And it's usually us. So that's all I had. Okay. All right, Mr.
And I agree. And yes, sir.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir. I totally agree with you. And this is the thing. It's so sad about it. Here it is. We're going through this foolishness, and then you have the president of the United States that committed all those convicted felon, and he's representing the country and the world, want to represent the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you don't want to give me or you a break in case we make a wrong choice. I could make the wrong choice. I ain't so holding down. I can't make a wrong choice at my age. And you don't want to exonerate me or help me, but you have a president of the United States and all those fellows, they still represent the country. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, well, we're at where we at right now, and I think that we're the blame for it. So, but we'll have that conversation another time. Let me get some of these other calls.
All right, brother. Thank you, buddy.
I appreciate you, sir. All right. Hey, Miss Anita. Miss Anita?
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to know, did you see the news about a week or so ago on Channel 8 when it was talking about this very same thing? And a young man, yeah, and then a young man came on and was saying how he hadn't seen nothing in 3 years that he been out.
He did what
and,
now?
He hadn't seen any money since he'd been out for the last past 3 years. And now this going on, and he said he don't think you'll ever see it. But he was exonerated for something he did not do. And they had another older gentleman, I think the one you're talking about.
He's 72.
He came on. Yes. And then you had the young man, he may be in his 40s now, but I think he was a teen when he left away from here. But they exonerated him, and they still fighting for him to get his money.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want the parishes to pay for wherever they was arrested at, for them to give them the restitution because of the mistakes they made. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, it was on Channel 8 News about a week or so ago. And I don't normally watch the news, and I just happened to turn it on, and then I knew the young man. I'm like, damn, and I didn't know he was going through that, but he left away from here when he was young. He wasn't able to graduate high school and stuff like that, and all of that was bothering him. So yeah, and it's so sad that now they want to try to take it from him, but I think that would be stopped, and I hope they really stopped it and not just saying they did it, like you said, just because that they knew there was going to be question about it. And if the people coming on your station today, and I'm sure going to be listening for it, because she probably talk about the same thing what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be on at 5 o'clock, so
Well, I'm gonna be listening out for her.
Okay. Well, thank you, Miss
Well, I'm
Anita.
gonna be listening. Always,
All right, my
always.
dear.
All right, y'all have a
Bye-bye.
good one.
Cedric,
Hey there, man.
what's happening?
Hey there, to the listening family. First and foremost, it just said on WDSU breaking news, the recount, the millage came out with 4 votes instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
That just came out of according to Channel 6 WDSU. You know, Gerard, we often say, and many of us know, that other people are listening to this radio station because a lot of things that we discuss or bring to the forefront, then it often ends up on one of these stations. Now, why the other news media agencies are not making the choice to include us, the majority populace, and our issues, you know what I mean? When we're not the guilty defendant, I don't understand that. And again, I would hope that our mayor, our city council members would stop fighting among each other and start putting issues out there that are pertinent to the survival of we, the ordinary people. As you talked yesterday, Gerard, it is very, very important that people are not seeing cargo ships as they're crossing the Greater Mississippi Bridge, the GNO. You know what I mean? That's very crucial. And as the caller yesterday, Jason, the truck driver, we're all going to feel it more than what we're feeling it now. So to the owners of WBOK, to all of the programs, you know, and especially this one, thank you all, and to your producers for what you all do for us. Have a good one, man.
All right, brother. That's cool. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Cedric. Yeah, well, I think that we got to be able to say some things. Look, I can tell you this: we're not a popularity contest. I don't even know how to say that in any other regard or disregard. We know that, you know, some of the things that we put on the air are going to piss some people off. Not going to want to be a part of the main conversation. Things that you see and hear. I mean, do you really think you're going to see or hear so much about this movement that happened yesterday? The people called and started talking to this, I don't even know what they said. I can tell you that it wasn't good. This representative about why are you putting some type of stuff together to stop funding people that have been incarcerated wrongly and not trying to take care of them. You took 46 years of this man's life. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's older than some of the kids that's listening. Craziness. All right, as we're going to make an announcement, but I think Cedric tried to beat me to it. There's conversation about what happened with this recount in this millage. Joining us now, the clerk of court, Mr. Darren Lombard is with us. Mr. Lombard.
What you say, brother? How you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a long day.
Very.
But that's why they pay you the big bucks. I'm sorry. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
That's what I signed up for, man.
Yep. Can you give me some details on this recount?
Okay, so the results overall remains the same. The millage is passed. The total votes were there was a 2-vote differential between election night and the recount.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there was some human error that may have caused two additional no votes to be added where it should not have been. And we found the error and corrected it. And now, instead of there being a
2-vote differential,
a two-vote differential, now it's a 4-vote differential.
And so that's the final count. So there's what? So it was 715, 10, 715 plus 4 more. So that's 719.
Well, it's not it's not added to the yes vote. It's taken away from the no vote. So I think it's 12-7-11 instead of 12-7-13
Oh, okay.
on
All
the
right.
no side of things.
Okay, very good. I thought it was added to the yes side.
No,
Hey,
it was
you ain't give me no
it's a
land.
yes
You
or
can give us a little
no.
land yap, bro. You can give us a little land yap. It's gonna win anyway. Darren said, "I ain't playing with you on that. They are not gonna get me and record me saying that."
Oh no.
Yeah.
You gotta be tight with it.
Yeah, pretty much. So the challenge is over. So that's done. This is it.
Well, I'm gonna say there's still another option for the individuals on the other side that decide that they want to pursue it further. They can challenge that in court, but there's a certain time frame involved for that.
Okay.
So not to predict, but I'm gonna say on all the cases that I've seen, there once the recount is done, it's usually not pursued any further than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is a political time, and everybody talking about the election coming up. So I'm just trying to figure
Yeah,
out
things
exactly.
are different these days.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It does. All right, my brother. I appreciate it. So it is now 4 votes instead of 2 votes. That
difference, yes.
It's in the yes win, the win column, not the no column. So
correct.
All right.
Correct.
Well,
So
thank you, sir.
yeah.
Thank you for all you
Absolutely.
do. And you
Anytime
summed it
you
up.
need me, give me a holler.
I appreciate you much.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Talk to you later. All right.
All right.
That is the clerk of court for the city of New Orleans, Mr. Darren Lombard. You heard it here first, and now you know. All right. Do you want to take the break now? No? Okay. All right. We'll keep going then. Because I know y'all start the daggone music in a minute. And I ain't talking about you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you about you.
Terrible.
All right, so here we go. The other part of this conversation, which I'm gonna end up talking about. I don't know if I'm gonna end up with this week. Before we get into it, I want to tell you it's interesting how stories change. How you believe certain things. Everybody's like, uh-oh, here you go. Yeah, here you go. You ready? If I go back, I don't know exactly what year it is. Somebody can check me on this if you need to. But if I go back, I can remember the talking heads. Y'all know the bobbleheads. The ones that always get the microphone and The ones that always talk about how bad stuff is here in NOLA with black leadership. And they started talking about our judges. Oh, they don't clear the dockets. They don't do this. They don't do that. Oh, they don't show up for court. They don't do this. They don't do that. And they need to do a better job. They need to do a better job. So we invented a nonprofit. Now, I'm not saying they're doing anything bad. I'm just giving you the details to make you remember, because this ain't the story about the invention of the nonprofit. We invented Court Watch NOLA, dun, 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 to make sure you are doing what you're supposed to do. What you doing under that black robe? So we invented Court Watch NOLA, right? How come today Court Watch NOLA is saying all the time, yeah, they clearing their docket. They doing what they're supposed to do. They did this. Oh, this person is the best. This one is the other best. Talking about the judges. How come there's a story today talking about Nandi Campbell? Y'all heard this one, Judge Nandi Campbell? Have y'all heard this one? I'm going to bring that up in just a bit. That's another one we got to bring up and talk about. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. More coming up, y'all. I'll tell y'all the details in just a minute.
Start your day off right.
Just getting your day started.
Early morning gospel on WBOK.
It's our second anniversary and it's tax season, and we have great deals to help you keep more of your refund. Check out our amazing offers on phones, watches, tablets, and accessories for the whole family. Need internet? We've got you covered. If AT&T internet is unavailable in your area, we've got individual deals to keep you connected. Stop by your locally owned AT&T store at 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. We're not just an AT&T store, we're your AT&T store. Proud to serve and give back to our community.
The legendary Broadway show is back. The Wiz. The Chicago Tribune raves. It's an eye-popping, high-intensity revival and a cause for celebration. The music, the voices, the legend returns. Entertainment Weekly says, run, don't ease on down to this spectacular revival. The Wiz. Playing the Sanger Theater May 13th through 18th. Tickets at BroadwayInNewOrleans.com.
This is Jackie Jones with Class Act Entertainment. Join us on May 11th at the Honor Thy Mother Theater Brunch in partnership with WBOK at the Jean Lafitte Auditorium. Experience the red carpet with live interviews and photo ops, along with a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas. Highlighting the afternoon is the original stage play, Mama. The finale, live concert with Piano Man G. Get your tickets at 504-491-1179.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Pontchartrain Park. Thanks for listening to WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. My number 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. So, well, congratulations to the world. I guess we got a new pope. Pope Leo the 14th. And he's American. So congratulations to all of my people of faith, especially our Catholic folks. They now have a new pope. Pope Leo the 14th. All right, so congratulations. Here it is. I'm a little perturbed, but I'm like, here we go with damned if you do and damned if you don't. That's what the name of this subject matter is going to be. So the story reads as follows. State lawmakers in Baton Rouge are calling on the Louisiana Supreme Court to look into one judge in New Orleans. That person handling what a watchdog agency says is an unusual large amount of judge trials. It's not using a jury to render a verdict. And the number of guilty verdicts is alarming to some. The number of not guilty verdicts is alarming to some. This marks on the victim's neck are evident. Police body cam video from a 2023 case shows where officers say a domestic abuse battery happened and the suspect was arrested. The man was charged with domestic abuse battery involving strangulation and domestic abuse child endangerment, as well as simple battery. But in April of this year, the suspect was found not guilty on 2 felony crimes, one guilty of and only guilty of simple battery. But it wasn't a jury that rendered that verdict, it was a judge. Who they talking about? Orleans Parish Criminal Court Judge Nandi Campbell. Oh, they done went and got the Metropolitan Crime Commission to see what's going on. Oh, they done said, we're going to get the judges, or we're going to get some lawmakers up in Baton Rouge to pay attention. And in the conversation piece here, quote, she was a criminal defense attorney and was elected to be a judge on a progressive platform, said Raphael Goyeneche, the head of the Metropolitan Crime Commission. And Judge Campbell has done the lion's share of judge trials at criminal court over the last several years. 40%, according to the Metropolitan Crime Commission, far outpacing all of her 11 colleagues on the bench. A judge trial happens when a criminal defendant waives their right to go before a jury and allows the judge to render a verdict on the case. No jury of 12, just the judge. Criminal cases are randomly allotted at court to different judges, and any judge can handle a judge trial if one is requested, but very few do. Many presiding over only 2 or 3 in 3 years. Criminal defense attorneys are very knowledgeable on the mindset of the judges, says Goyeneche. Goyeneche runs the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Each year, the group ranks the judges in New Orleans. This year, Judge Campbell came out first, noted for moving her docket and running an efficient court. But the number of judge trials and percentage of not guilty verdicts rendered by Campbell stuck out to the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Their records show that Judge Campbell did 48 judge trials in the last 3 years. That's more than double the nearest closest judge, who handled 21. 38 of those cases ended up with not guilty verdicts. Her acquittal rate is 79%. But I took a lot at crimes of violence. These are going to be felony crimes of violence, and her acquittal rate is 93%, said Goyeneche. Well, do we have to put everybody in jail? Because that's what it sounds like. Y'all just want everybody in jail. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. So now we got a request for lawmakers in Baton Rouge to look into a judge. What did she do wrong? I'm just saying. Ms. Shantae.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Making it.
Just making it? I know better.
I know, right? But I'm here.
What's going on?
So I would like to speak about Judge Nandi Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
She was the judge that rendered Andrew Gant, who murdered my son, Jay Scott. The murder happened back in November 24, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And she let him walk away with murder, like pure murder. And Nandi gave Andrew Gant negligent homicide and obstruction of justice. That's what he was able to walk away with.
But what were the charges?
Negligent homicide and obstruction of justice. So she gave him 3 years probation. Then she also gave him the fines of restitution. Then she also told him the defendant must speak 3 times a year, once to an elementary school, once to a middle school, and once to a high school. Then she also put in the sentence that the defendant is to provide video proof of his talks, along with a letter from each school stating that defendant Gant appeared and spoke about how this incident impacted his friend's life, his friend's family life, and how it has impacted his life.
Mm-hmm.
So the defendant Gant is to speak 3 times a year for each year he is on probation. And he had to pay the cost of restitution for the family. Andrew Gant shot my son on Suno campus in a small incubator building. Andrew Gant shot Jace, said that they were horse playing with guns. He shot Jace. He fled the scene. He threw the gun in a body of water. He left. He went by a cousin's house. Then he went home, took a shower, called his daddy, Victor Gant, which is an active police officer now until this day on the NOPD police force. He called his father. His father told him he should turn himself in, but wait till I bring you to turn you in. So he waited for his daddy, washed evidence off, and he went down to the police station where he turned himself in. I don't know if Mr. Gant went to jail. He didn't serve no jail time. They gave him house arrest. I'm thinking that the case is that he's going to get some jail time for whatever charge he's supposed to have, the proper charge he's supposed to have for murdering Jace. And she didn't.
What, was this a jury trial or was this a judge trial?
It was a judge trial. Leon Canizero was the DA at the time. Andrew Gant played blindly. Okay. Also, they put a report out about my son, January the 30th, 2020, saying that my son was a suspect in an armed robbery, and somebody came down to 3rd District and pointed him out. My son was murdered November the 24th, 2019. So I don't know how my son's face got plastered all over NOPD news, internet, Twitter, NOPD.com. My son's face was splattered all over, and I was already grieving. And to hear that my son was picked out of a lineup saying that he did it, they saw him, he walked up to him and pointed a gun at him for an iPhone. Also.
And he was not there because he had already
My son
been murdered.
was dead. My son was deceased on November 24th, 2019.
Oh, my God.
And this report came out January the 30th, 2020.
I am so
also,
sorry.
Yes, it's all right. I'm here. Also, where is the gun that Jace had? I looked at the crime scene photos. No gun was on his possession. I only saw a red iPhone. I saw my son's hand. My son's hand had blood on it. Okay? As I'm investigating the crime scene photos myself, I see where the bullet shell that was discharged from the gun is way on the other side of the room. My son's body was way by the door.
So
there's no
let me ask
way.
you this because I am running out of time, and I'm so sorry for your loss. That's number one. But the other part of this is, do you feel there was not a complete investigation?
No, it was not a complete investigation.
Okay.
It was not.
I got your number. I need to call you back. I got questions.
Yes.
Can I
And
do
Judge
that?
Nadia Campbell needs to be handled the proper way. She let a murder leave. She let a murder walk. She let favors. They save us for a favor in NOPD. Thank you.
I got your information. I'll call you back, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we'll
You're
take
welcome.
a break here. We'll come back. We'll have our conversation with Ms. G. Park from the Innocence Project coming up next right here on WBOK.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump is calling the Obama Presidential Center a disaster, blaming cost overruns on hiring woke workers.
And he said something to the effect, I only want
DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns.
He claimed construction has stopped due to a lawsuit. The Obama Foundation denied the claim, saying the project remains on track for a 2026 opening. The Federal Reserve wraps up a two-day meeting today with a decision on interest rates. The central bank is widely expected to hold its benchmark short-term borrowing rate steady. And a jury is expected to be seated today in the Sean Diddy Combs sex crimes trial. The embattled rapper and business mogul is facing life in prison on several charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering in New York City. Prosecutors allege he threatened and coerced women for sex. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. On your drive home, turn your radio up because this one you're not going to believe this one. You're not going to believe this one at all as we have this conversation. And let me apologize to Ms. Scott. First of all, I ain't want to cut you off because that's a story I have not heard all the information, but I got your number. I'm going to call you back, Ms. Shantae. But right now, a conversation with Ms. G. Park, who is the executive director for the Innocence Project of New Orleans. Hello there.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry this is like the first time that we've had a conversation, but I know y'all busy over there.
We are, unfortunately, too busy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Park, I gotta ask the question. When I read this bill, I said to myself, "Are these folks going crazy here?" Don't answer that. But I was, but when I saw House Bill 673, I said they want to take away the money that they put you in jail. You lose over half of your life behind bars, and now they want to say, "Well, you got a wrongful conviction. Sorry, see you later." That's it. No compensation fund.
Right, exactly. House Bill 673 repeals the wrongful conviction compensation fund that has been in existence for the past 20 years. And as you said, this fund is for factually innocent people who are falsely accused, falsely arrested, wrongfully imprisoned, and lost decades of their life. And so when they come home, they have nothing, right? They don't have a career. They don't have an education. They don't have any job skills. Most members of their families, have passed away. Mm-hmm. And so 20 years ago, the state of Louisiana said, you know what? It is incumbent upon us to provide something to these folks so that they can, start to rebuild their lives. And so they created this fund. It's been in existence for 20 years, as I said, and it has been working perfectly fine. There hasn't been any problems. And this bill, all of a sudden, this session, wants to repeal the whole thing and get rid of it.
Well, that's what I was asking you. I kind of figured that you probably know a little bit more about this whole situation than I would. So I was trying to get the scoop. And my intentions of getting the scoop from you was like, what brought this up? This just appeared out of the blue.
It caught us by surprise, too, actually. We didn't think wrongful conviction compensation was a controversial topic. We thought most Louisianans would support and does support, I think, helping wrongfully convicted people rebuild their lives. We're not talking about people whose convictions got reversed on a technicality, right? We're talking about people who are actually innocent, who didn't do the crime, who knew nothing about the crime, and yet falsely accused and went to prison, right? And we know those things happen in our state and across the country. And so we were really actually caught off guard ourselves when we learned about this bill. And my understanding was that, Attorney General made it pretty clear at the start of the legislative session that this was one of her priority legislation, right, to try to, and what she had proposed initially was to modify the wrongful conviction compensation process to make it more challenging. It is already a very, very challenging process to go through, but she wanted to make it more intense, more challenging, essentially preventing factually innocent people from accessing this fund. And so that was the initial intent of the bill when it was first introduced. Then during the House Criminal Justice Committee hearing, that bill was substituted by Chairwoman Debbie Villio, Representative Villio, and that substitution bill just repealed the whole thing. Instead of modifying it, she wanted to just get rid of it. And so that's what came out of the House Administration of Criminal Justice Committee.
So, and I'm sorry I'm asking you all these questions. Like, I know you've probably then heard them 15 different times, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute. So you can put me in jail, no ramifications, nothing. If you put me in jail, hid evidence, anything, and left me there to rot. And then they find out that if I got a chance to talk to Miss G. Park at the Innocent Project and she gets me out, I don't have anything to fall back on. There's no other, nothing. There's no money. I'm just out here. And I was listening to Mr. Jones's wife and the story that they did on Channel 4. And honestly, I heard her say, well, if we didn't have this, we'd probably end up being homeless.
Right. Yeah, I know Wilbur Jones and Mary Jones. So Wilbur Jones, he went to prison at age 19 in 1972, right? He was just 19 years old. He was a teenager, and he was falsely accused of a rape that he did not commit. And it took 46 years. It took 46 years for this man to prove his innocence and to win his freedom. So he went to prison at 19. He came home at 65. He came home at a retirement age, and because he put nothing into the Social Security system, he's going to get nothing back. And so, as soon as he came home, Wilbur at age 65 began cleaning tables. He was working maintenance jobs. He was doing janitorial jobs. He had serious health concerns. He's diabetic, and he had serious complications with diabetes, and yet he was forced to work to support himself. And so when he finally got this wrongful conviction compensation 2 years ago, it was a real blessing for him. And I want people to understand that we're not talking about a windfall for these folks. We're talking about $40,000 a year.
Right.
$40,000 a year, up to 10 years only, right? That's the statute. And so Wilbur
that's not
Jones,
a lot of money for anybody. That's not especially for a household.
No, exactly. I mean, would you want to go to prison for a year just to get $40,000? No, absolutely not.
No,
right.
Absolutely not. But Ms. Park, let me ask this too, because I was thinking to myself, I said, as I looked at this whole situation, and this may sound a little bit, political, but I'm thinking to myself, who needs exonerating more than anybody? If I start looking at the class of folks, maybe even the ethnicity of folks, would you agree with me on this, that exoneration comes more to black folks than anybody else, black men?
I mean, obviously, black people are overrepresented, right, in the criminal legal system.
Mm-hmm.
And so given that, black people are also disproportionately represented in the folks who are exonerated in the state of Louisiana and across the country. So yes, when you look at the exoneration data for Louisiana and for the rest of the country, a disproportionate number of those exonerees are, yes, indeed, black people.
Well, the other part of that I was listening to, one of my callers, as we were talking about this earlier, she called in and she was like, wait a minute, because I read the statement that the Attorney General made, Liz Merrill, said taxpayers in North Louisiana shouldn't have to pay for the wrongful convictions of a locally elected official in South Louisiana or vice versa. The current system is misaligned the responsibility and put it on the backs of the taxpayers all over the state for the conduct of some individual elected official. We're working closely with lawmakers and stakeholders as the bill moves its way through the legislature. And I read that my caller called me and she said, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense because of the fact that you don't want me to start talking about the things that the folks in New Orleans or South Louisiana have to pay for the folks in North Louisiana. And then I also said, well, when I am in a situation where we are talking about me against the state, it doesn't say North Louisiana or South Louisiana. It says the state of Louisiana. When she writes some type of legal jargon, it says the state of Louisiana. So why wouldn't I look at this as the whole state being responsible for what they failed to do, the correct thing.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. It is state versus, G Park. It's not Orleans Parish versus G Park when you are charged with a criminal act, right?
Right.
And so I think you're absolutely correct. It is a state responsibility. And I mean, what's really interesting to me is that criminal legal system is about accountability, right? Holding someone who did harm responsible. In a wrongful conviction case, it is also about accountability. And in many instances, it is the state that caused an innocent person harm. And so the state should be held accountable, and the state should be responsible for helping to rebuild this person's life. And like I said, it's not a ton of money. It's a very, very small sum of money to help this person pay for rent, get insurance, right? Go to and from job, pay for health care. We're talking about basic living expenses.
How many folks are we talking about a year? If I could look at the, because I do think you have different innocence projects across the country. This is one of New Orleans, correct?
Yes, and so, Innocence Project New Orleans actually serves the entire state of Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
So in spite our name, we actually have cases in Caddo, in Lake Charles, and Lafayette. So we actually serve the entire state of Louisiana. And when you are wrongfully convicted and then your conviction gets reversed and your charges are dismissed and you're exonerated, wrongful conviction compensation is not an automatic thing that you receive. You actually have to file another petition, a second petition, and then you have to litigate that petition. And then you have to prove again that you're factually innocent by clear and convincing evidence to another judge. So it's a different process. I want folks to understand that. This is not automatic. Your conviction gets reversed, you don't get a check for $40,000. You actually have to file another lawsuit before another judge, have a judge trial, and have to prove your factual innocence by clear and convincing evidence. So it's actually a really challenging and difficult process.
So this could take another couple of years.
Oh, for sure. 3-4 years sometimes.
Jeez.
And so, in the state of Louisiana, there has been 87 people who've been exonerated, who are factually innocent and exonerated. That's according to the National Registry of Exonerations, a national database. Out of those 87 people, only 37 individuals have managed to win wrongful conviction compensation, which demonstrates how difficult this process is already, right?
Wow.
And so this bill, House Bill 673, was talking about taking away money from 37 Louisianans, 37 people, which I think is so heartless and cruel and just mean.
I'm just sitting back and saying to myself, what sparked this man, this representative, because and I do know, and I think that I've got to get to that part too, because the bill itself, as controversial as it is, it's been pulled back. That's the terminology that I'm hearing, that it's been pulled back. Because I know yesterday I was so angry, I just started giving out Representative Nicholas Muscarello's telephone number and had people calling. I received a telephone call back from his office saying, we were looking at it again. Could you please stop having people to call our office because it was jamming up his lines?
Yeah, no, I think public pressure, I think public outcry about the unfairness and the injustice of this bill has reached the ears of Representative Muscarello. And I have to say, he is doing what is right, and I think he is doing what is just. Like, he is not going to push this bill. He said he's going to park this bill and just let it be. And I think he is doing that.
Terminology scares me, though, Ms. Park.
Yeah.
I'm going to park the bill. I didn't say I'm going to rip it up, tear it up, going to take it out of committee. I'm going to park it. That means I can bring it up later, correct?
I mean, I guess theoretically you could bring it up later because the legislative session doesn't end until middle of June. But I mean, I think he did make a public announcement yesterday. In fact, it was just yesterday afternoon, telling reporters and others that he intends to park it. And so for the time being, I'm going to have good faith that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. And I think in some ways he understood that factually innocent people deserve real justice. They need accountability for what was done to them.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got some faith in this one. Maybe I'm just the devil because I don't have no faith in this legislative session at all because some of these bills that I'm hearing are coming up are terrible.
But I'm really glad that your callers took action.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's required, right? I think all, like your listeners have to understand that your voice matters. Calling legislators and putting your dissent on the record is actually so important. So, I mean, thank you so much for having listeners who really care and are energized to do something.
So, being the head of the or the executive director of the Innocence Project, what do you have that we need to know about that? Because I think that a lot of these bills that come forward, they just inch by without a lot of folks knowing what's going on in the state legislature.
Right. Yeah, there's so much happens in such a short period of time, right? The session's only, I think, like 45 days or 50 days long. So a lot is happening in a very, very abbreviated short period of time. There's another bill we are trying to fight in the legislature. It is House Bill 675. And it is the author of this bill is Brian Glorioso. He is a representative from Slidell, so in our neck of woods as well.
Okay.
So Representative Glorioso, and this bill is also a bill that's supported by the Attorney General. And what this bill does is that it amends the post-conviction process to make it more challenging for people with new evidence that supports their claims of innocence from getting into court. So
Wait a minute.
basically
So if I found some evidence that would help me to prove that I didn't do what they're saying that I did, I wouldn't be able to submit it?
Yes, according to this bill. If you found that evidence 2 years after you finished your direct appeal, then you can't come into court. So like Wilbur, like the guy we talked about earlier, in the call, Wilbur Jones,
right?
He did 46 years. He found the new evidence, 40th year into his incarceration. And so if House Bill 675 was the law, he could never get into court, even though he found evidence of his innocence.
So they would throw that out.
Yes, they would say your case has been abandoned and you cannot come into court.
So if by chance somebody shot somebody, they died from the gunshot, and they thought that I did it, and they didn't have a weapon, but they said they had somebody that saw me do it, and they couldn't find the weapon. But later on, by some chance, the weapon may have washed up on the beach because somebody threw it in the lake or something, and they saw that it wasn't something that I did.
Yeah,
I couldn't submit it.
You couldn't submit it if it was 2 years after your direct appeal.
Wow.
So you better have found that gun within 2 years of your direct appeal. If you found that gun 2 years and a day after your direct appeal, you'll be out of luck.
So this is going in front of the committee when? Is it in committee or is it on the floor?
It came out of the committee. So
Okay.
It went to the committee already. It's out of the committee. It's going to head to the House floor.
And this is House Bill 675?
Yes, 675.
And the representative is who again?
Brian Glorioso from Slidell.
Yeah, I see him, Republican from
Slidell,
okay. I'm sorry. That was really partisan. That was not partisan at all. Yeah, so we need to make some more telephone calls.
Yes, you do. You do need to make telephone calls. And one other thing that bill does is that it also restricts the time frame in which you can seek to correct an illegal sentence. Right now, the current law is if you have an illegal sentence and you found out about it 10 years into your sentence, you can go into court and correct it. 675 says you only have 1 year. You have 1 year from the date of your sentence to correct an illegal sentence. But
So
sometimes you don't realize
is
your
this the
sentence.
same as House Bill 572? Okay, it replaces it. Okay, that's what it is. I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
it too.
exactly.
House
It
Bill
replaces it.
572.
Right, it replaces it, exactly. It replaces it. And so, again, that's another provision in House Bill 675 that is incredibly unfair. Because sometimes people sit in prison with an illegal sentence, meaning like you are parole eligible, but the
Right.
judge didn't put that on your sentencing sheet.
Right. Which
And, and you, right.
you never be able to
And
get
it's a
away
case-
from that. You'll never be able to get away from it.
Never be able to get away from that, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, I want to thank you for all of your hard work and all of your group's hard work, but I think that we need to have some more conversations about all these different things. I'd love to make sure that you're a regular on this program because it affects a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
And
well,
I
great.
appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and keep up the hard work. And look, we'll get back in contact with you within the next week or two to let you know some of the things that we're going to do and have a conversation with Representative Brian Glorusso too. I might ask him to come on the air and talk about this.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you again. Alrighty.
Okay.
Bye-bye. That is Ms. G. Park, who is the Executive Director for the Innocence Project. Coming up, we're going to talk to the sheriff in just a minute here. We're going to call her and have a conversation with her about the millage passing. More coming up in just a minute, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Crowns and Hops, a black and woman-owned brewer based in Inglewood, California, is making it part of its mission to pave the way for more diversity in the craft beer space. Benny Ashburn is co-founder of Crowns and Hops. She says one of her goals is to help redefine what diversity means in the beer business.
When we first started 7-8 years ago and we had conversations with some of the beer associations and leaders, their best understanding of diversity was not enough white women. So it was at that point that I knew being not only the face and a trusted voice as a leader inside of craft beer would then provide more comfort to the black females and that do drink beer and want to be a part of this community.
Ashburn is helping to pave the way for more black founders in beer with the help of Samuel Adams. Crowns and Hops is the latest winner of the Brewing and Business Experience-ship from Sam Adams. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Connect with NOLA Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Visit NOLAPublicSchools.com today. Again, that's NOLAPublicSchools.com.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the Whole Water Stove, Pastor David Impartian Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
This summer, let your child's creativity shine at Camp Art, New Orleans' most vibrant, arts-driven camp experience for kids ages 4 to 12. Hosted by Beyond the Stage, Camp Art blends visual art, theater, music, dance, and creative writing with New Orleans history and culture. Plus, field trips, guest artists, and camper showcases. With full-day programming before and after care and sessions starting June 9th, it's the perfect fit for working parents. Fun, enriching, unforgettable. Register now at BeyondTheStageLLC.com/campart and follow us on social media at Beyond the Stage LLC.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. Oh, man. Noonie! Noonie? Oh, man, we missed Noonie. I'm sorry, Noonie. I had to get these folks on. I had to get these folks to call me back. I am going to have a conversation too with. Oh, that's Noonan. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. I was on the line with Mr. G. Park from the Innocence Project. What's happening with you?
Hey, what's up, G?
You the man, bro. How you doing?
Man, I had to let you get off. I wanted to come on for two reasons.
Okay.
First reason is me and the Inspector General went to court today.
Uh-oh.
And the judge ruled with me. The judge ruled with me. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. The judge ruled with me, and he came with two documents, right? And he handed them over to me, and we got a status here because I asked Your Honor to sit in and be the overseer of the tape to making sure that he turned everything over.
Okay.
So number 6, he tried to play a little game talking about he needs 50 hours and all these days and all that. So Your Honor told him, well, hire 3 college students because give Mr. Baptiste what he asking for. And so, I had to stand up to him, but they was playing games. So we're going to see where we go because we know the first disc he gave didn't have nothing on it, Gerard.
Mm-hmm.
So at there, I was very pleased with the judge ruling because, she really let me have my say and I represented myself well. But, this Inspector General, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Now, I asked him in court, don't he go to Houston's D? He say he used his own credit card. I said, so you're telling me you're taking the city credit card and you're not using it to eat or buy nothing? He said, no, Gerard. But we know he lying, so I'm waiting to see what he's going to give. But I wanted him to have my day in court, so now the judge is overseeing the case and shouts out to Paulette Irons because she did a really great job and she saw through him. So now it's time for him to produce. So I wanted to let you know that.
So let me ask you a question, because a lot of folks may not be totally up on what you're talking about here, but you have put in for a public records request, and you've done it several months ago. I think about 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago.
And the law states that a public records request has to be filled within, 72 hours?
You got 5 days. It's really 3 days, but if it's a weekend, you got 5 because they don't count Saturday and Sunday. And he hadn't produced it. I mean, I did this February the 12th. Here we in May 8th. You see what I'm saying? But he's the same Inspector General that want to play with the sheriff and go back 4 years on Susan, and then he want to go to every department and go back 3 and 4 years, but he don't want to produce. And his website say accountability and transparency, and we don't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just showing you. So the judge is sitting in and doing the status hearing. So I'm good with that, because I want to see what he's going to produce. He got 2. I think he got number 6 and number 32 and 34 to give me. And I got the distance today, so it's going to take me a while to review it to see if he's smoke screening or what. But the judge is setting up a status day for us, and she's watching it closely.
So
and she told him.
Huh? I was asking those cases as far as what he's going to produce. Did you ask the judge to make sure that information is not redacted? Because what they will do is give you a whole bunch of files that just have black lines. Would you go back and ask judge to make sure that they are not redacted?
Yeah. So that's good. That's good to know when I get on a status hearing. I'll make sure with that. But the only thing he can redact if it's something personal or how they redact,
a person's name,
whatever. That's it. But that's why it's the judge to oversee this process.
Right. Because they cannot redact the investigation in itself because that is public information. And then you're saying he's putting it on this now, then, correct?
Yeah, he came with 2 today, and he got to give some more disses. He got to give 2 more disses. So I'm looking forward to that, But I'm after those credit card receipts because I want to know what you was doing at the coffee shop with the fresh barista.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what else might be going on?
And so that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. But I want to weigh in on the young lady that called you. Shantae Scott. Gerard, I really think you should reach out to that sister, have a sit down with her, because, you know, if I tell you the evidence, she got the paperwork, she got all the proof, and it is what she's saying it is. And I told her to get on, and I want you to reach out to her and check out all the evidence, because I told her one thing about Gerard, he's going to keep it real. And what she got, she's telling you the truth. 2019, her child died. In 2020, they were saying he was an armed robber. And then they put his picture all worldwide, all over the news and everything. But my question was,
but he had
how
already
can
passed.
someone...
He was already passed.
Yeah, he had already passed. So I'm trying to figure out how somebody already passed, that been to the graveyard buried, got up and robbed somebody. But what's the worst part about that one is, Gerard, now who did they arrest for that armed robbery? Because they say the witness picked them out of lineup, right? So if you pick them out the lineup and you pick someone that passed, that means you lying. And so at the end of the day, but some man can be innocent in jail because she lied the first time, and I'm pretty sure they didn't tell his lawyer that she lied, and we might have a guy in jail sitting in jail for armed robbery for 20, 30 years over a lie. So at the end of the day, they said there was horse playing and the gun is missing, all right? They say her son had a gun. But the gun, they don't have no gun nowhere in the reports. We went down there, we searched everything, Gerard, and this smells stinky. This smells stinky, and it is stinky. Then the boy go home, take a shower to get all the gun residue off him. They even got a witness, and the witness said it's murder. But at the end of the day, it was covered up, Gerard. And that's all I'm going to say about that case. And I just want you to reach out to her, because this mother is grieving. She's hurting. And then when she saw her son being passed around as a armed robbery, nobody from the NOPD reached out. It's like you say, as the NOPD turns, nobody was to tell her they were sorry or nothing. They just let the mother sit there, grieve, and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of questions got to be answered. And my last thing, Gerard, is, you know, I went to investigate this thing with the sheriff, right? And the guy who filed the thing against the sheriff had an address 400 Burgundy Street, right? So I went, you know me, I went with my own brother in the rain, and I had my ride or die. I ain't gonna name her. But anyway, we went in the rain, and I go there. It's the four-legged ball. That's what they call it, the four-legged ball. So I go in there. I say, excuse me. Is Daniel Fultz here? They said, Daniel Fultz who? I said, Daniel Fultz. I said, did he ever work here? Did he ever stay here? Or not? The people didn't even know Daniel Fultz. And so the neighbors don't know him. Nobody don't know him. So what came to me, Gerard, is, and I keep it real, I don't have no fights in the sheriff race or nothing. But right is wrong is wrong. They try to mess with the people power vote, and then we find out, oh, we got 2 more votes. But this guy, Daniel Fultz, I did my research. He left here years ago, but he's still voting in the city of New Orleans, and now find out he just got a job as a Lyft driver. But I want to know who gave him the $2,100 cash, because he went on WBOK and he said, I can't afford it, or he said, I barely can afford it, or something like that. So we need to track the money. So Belden knew the man Baptiste is good, you know. So guess what, Gerard? I'm going to tell you who I think gave him the money.
Who's that? You
want to know?
Yeah.
The preachers. Willie Gable them. That's who I think gave him the money. But it's a disgrace, and it's out of, we let this guy, Daniel Fultz, and then he had 2 names. He had Daniel Felipe Alejo or something, and then Daniel Fultz. What is your real name, first of all?
Danilo Augusto Feliciano.
There you go. You said it best for me. So at the end of the day, I know Daniel. I know Daniel real good. He's the same one. You know, I've been doing my research and putting Mickey Mouse on the recall. But at the end of the day, I ain't talking about the recall. I'm talking about this dude, Daniel Fultz. So at the end of the day, there needs to be an investigation on Daniel Fouts because, sir, if you're not living here, how you been voting for the past 15 years when you've been gone the past 15 years? And so after I left the bar, Gerard, I asked them one more question. Guess what they told me? Oh, everybody get their meal here. I said, do Daniel? They said, no, but a lot of people get their meals. So I think we need to investigate the bar and see who really voting illegal.
Well, I know that's a public location that does not have, I don't think it has any rooms for people to live there because it is a bar.
And so I filmed it. I was out there, Gerard, because I like to know the truth. And I wanted to figure out why did he do this. Now, he said he didn't even care about the 2 votes of the election. He said he did this because 2016, they have not been fair in the elections. So what came on to me, well, why you didn't do it in 2016? You know, it smells stinky to me. And somebody put him up to it. And see what he paid cash, Gerard, you know you can't track cash. Yeah. But if you did a money order, a check, or something, we'll see. You see what I'm saying? So this whole mess smells stinky to me. And at the end of the day, it looked like somebody trying to play with the people's vote. But Daniel Fouts should feel like a clown because he found 2 votes that should have been yes. So now it's 4 votes. What are you going to do now?
I don't know. We'll see. We
so
shall see.
I just wanted to tell you that, Gerard, but Noonie going to keep on this story because I'm getting to the bottom of it. I'm trying to find out what's really going on, who putting these no tax signs up. I'm tracing everything. And when I get it, Gerard, I'll come back on your show. Yeah. But reach out to that mother, man. If you can't get her, call me, and you know we'll go to our little secret spot.
I was getting ready to tell you, let's set it up. Let's set it up for our dinner.
All right.
So we'll do
all right, G. Thank you, G.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you in a minute. Keep it up, Noonie.
All right.
All right.
All right, gotcha.
That's the one and only Noonie man. Now, that's Noonie.
Knowing well.
All to make sure y'all know I'm ignorant, so y'all know I'll be like, that's Noonie, bitches. Noonie will make sure that you got to come with the truth. You got to come with the truth. And just for those of you that are just tuning in, just know that the recount for the Orleans Parish Safe Streets and Strong Communities millage, the recount happened today for 1 o'clock. And it was determined by the officials in itself that it was 4 votes instead of 2 votes. Now, what else do we need to talk to? We got the sheriff on the line here. Sheriff Susan Hudson is with us right now. Hey, Sheriff.
Gee, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Well, congratulations. Look like you got some more support, huh?
Double my margin. I love it.
I'm like, woo, you big time. But that's good. I saw one of the articles, too. And they asked you, well, how you feel about it, and you said immediately, a win is a win. And that to me said it and summed it up altogether. But are you surprised on the closeness of this race, of this vote for the millage, or do you think people understand? That's a good question. What this millage is really for?
I think some did, but I didn't want to be on the ballot for the March 29th thing. I didn't want to be in the no vote election. So we moved it to this one, and people sometimes knew that there was an election. I heard some feedback. People would have loved to hear more about the date. And these are regular voters who are like, I didn't realize something was coming up. Mm-hmm. Or I didn't realize the exact date it was coming up. So, people are really focused on other things during this time, Jazz Fest and all that. But what I really want to say about this is the people's win. This was democracy at work. And I'm grateful to all the people. So many people texted and called, and you saw it. They were saying, hey, look, I went and took my spouse, and we went and voted. We got in the door at like 7:59. Yeah.
Everybody took responsibility for them 2 votes. We were at church, y'all. People were walking up to the sheriff and saying, I just want you to know that was me and my wife, or me and my daughter, or me and my son That because we weren't gonna go vote, we went and voted. That lets you know every vote count. That was us. So
Yeah,
I was glad to
the
see
people's victory.
Mhm.
It was a people's victory, and I'm so grateful. And every single one of them did count, and they were able to help us overcome. The last time the millage was up there, we overcame 41 points, y'all. That's a big victory.
Mhm.
So 4-2, whatever, overcoming 41 votes from the last, 41 percentage points from the last election was huge. So it really turned it around, and it's so vital to renew this. And just never forget, a majority said we want to renew it. So that continues to support our deputies, make sure they're well equipped, and that we can do the transformative work we're doing for people in our custody. It's working. Progress is evident more and more every day. Crime is dropping, and the rate at which people get rearrested keeps falling.
So that number is going down. It is going down. Okay.
It's going down. So that is working. We just got some preliminary data, and we're still analyzing it. But the 4 years before I got into office, on average, and this includes the pandemic, when there weren't a lot of arrests, people were being arrested on average almost 8 times. In the last 3 years, it's fallen to a little over 3. So we still, again, need to analyze that further, but that says what? That the same people aren't cycling in and out because we're doing work to intervene, education, training, restorative work, addiction treatment, and mental health.
So yeah, I don't think that everybody really gets an idea of what it is that this office brings to the table, and it's not just put you in the jail, lock the door, and throw away the key. You're putting together programs, and you got a team of folks that are helping with those programs, so that when they do get out, they're better off. They're not. They've got some type of mental health help. They've got medical help. Then you've got them training in the jail to have some type of skill.
That's right. And it's really important. We've got a HISET program going, and our partners look, if you just put a bank of computers in, we'll be able to test more people, and more people can get their GED. Okay, let's go. People want to come, Brandon Moore and the barbering program, very popular. It gives people hope and a way to make money that's legal. We've got just more and more to come, but we're also dealing with what's going on inside of them, which is there's a reason they got there. They've been through some things and just need a chance and a different way to do things. And so we're doing that. So, and I think people get that message. So all the people who voted yes, this is your victory for public safety and progress and trying to make New Orleans as safe as it can possibly be.
Let me ask you this too, because I was watching this on the I was watching this on the news, and I was like, what? That the Attorney General is suing the jail, suing you because you won't let them come in, meaning the Attorney General or the police department of whoever, come in, and I think it's ICE, come in and find immigrants that have been arrested. Can you give me some details? I know that's an ongoing case, so if you can't, I understand. But is there a reason why she's doing this?
Well, they are definitely, I think, Trump supporters, president supporters, and so, and that's been an initiative, of course, of this administration, the Trump administration, to go after folks, migrants who trying to find a new way of life. What I've been trying to say, and I'm a lawyer, I am the sheriff, but I am a lawyer and an officer of the court, that there are 2 consent decrees that decide, those are 2 court orders by 2 federal judges, which decide how I can manage this. And so there's one consent decree, it's called the Cacho consent decree, in which under Sheriff Guzman, Cacho, a man named Mr. Cacho, was held without cause for a long time on this ICE detainer. And this is back in the days when there were tents out there, tent cities. So, that was pretty horrible living. So We've been held on this ICE detainer, which, by the way, is not a court order. It is something signed by ICE. It is not signed by a judge. And so, lawyer, I respect court orders, and I will follow a court order. If they get an order and hold me, and a judge says hold somebody, I'll hold them, because that's what the law. As a lawyer, I would follow that. But these are just detainers, and the idea is that you can hold people for 48 hours until ICE can come get them. Well, they were being held much longer than that. I think Cacho got held close to a year or something of that nature.
Oh, wow.
And the people of this city paid out, taxpayers paid out a lot of money because of that. And so, and under Sheriff Gusman, and it was an issue in the campaign, there was lots of over detention. And so, and then a number of judgments being paid out. We don't want that.
Right.
I've been able to cut the rate in half that people stay, people who are going to be bailed out and bonded out. We cut that from 80 days down to about 40 days. So that saved space, it saved taxpayer dollars, and then I'm not getting sued for that. So I have to follow that Cacho judgment as well, which says I will only hold people for 48 hours for ICE for 5 things. And those are very serious offenses. Murder,
does the Attorney
rape.
General understand this? I mean, because you're explaining the law, and she's supposed to be the law for the state, so she doesn't understand this. And federal law usurps state law, doesn't it?
It does. It does. But there's parts of it that she says the order says, I'll only hold people for rape, robbery, murder, kidnapping, and I think treason, which is kind of interesting. But those are the only things I'll hold people for 48 hours. And then my consent judgment just over the jail says I'll hold people for 48 hours, and that's it. They got to go after that.
Right.
So there's just a number of things. But the Cacho settlement also has some things that say when state law changes, you've got to kind of look at this order again. So we have to ask the judge, what does that mean? So I need the judge to interpret exactly what that means. So that's why she's sued me and is trying to intervene to try and get Cacho thrown out altogether.
Right.
So I like the status quo. I do not have the manpower and woman power to do ICE's job. I've said that. I am short probably 30% deputies to run the jail. I need 150 deputies just to run the jail.
150.
And that does not include doing ICE's work.
Right.
I'll need 200 total when the new building opens next year, phase 3. I'll need 200 deputies, so another additional 50. So I just don't have deputies to spare to do that. No one can wander around the jail. Not ICE, not NOPD doesn't. No one does. The state doesn't wander around the jail. So we can't allow that to happen with anybody. I'm responsible for the security and safety of our team and those in our custody. So we're litigating that, and we're going to listen to the court, and this will definitely be a legal process.
Well, I just wanted you to know that we wanted to congratulate you on this and to make sure that you ran forward and keep going. I know that this is it, and I know you're happy about it. I know you're happy. So, congratulations.
G, we can fight on.
Thank you much.
Down, 1 to go.
All right. We'll talk to you later then.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all. We got more coming up in a minute. Everybody hold tight.
Inflation and employment. The announcement comes as tariff tensions continue to ripple through the economy. President Trump has defended his aggressive trade strategy, saying it's about getting other countries to pay their fair share. But some economists say Americans are the ones bearing the costs as corporations pass along the higher prices. Inflation does remain high, and there's growing concern about the possibility of stagflation, where prices rise while economic growth stalls. Many point to the president's tariff policies as a key factor driving that risk. As the Fed stays the course, all eyes are on how Trump's economic strategy will play out in the end. For AURA News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Now, y'all remember a couple of months ago, I sounded a warning about the outbreak of measles in Texas and other states. Well, guess what? Louisiana health officials are now sounding the similar alarm here in the Pelican State, specifically here in the greater New Orleans area, where health authorities have now confirmed 2 cases. I recently spoke with New Orleans City Health Director Dr. Jennifer Avegno. She says, here's what we need to know. 1, both cases involved unvaccinated people, individuals who had an international exposure. Neither of them had to be hospitalized. Dr. Vegno says it's unclear whether there is any relationship to the over 600 cases in Texas, but that we should expect more national cases related to that outbreak in the future. 2, to protect ourselves, Dr. Vegno says, you should make sure you and your children are vaccinated. It's the only protection against the measles. Unvaccinated individuals have a more than 90% chance of being infected if exposed to the disease. A measles infection, by the way, can range from mild to severe, and get this, can wipe out immunity to other infections. 2 children have now died from the measles, and we must be vigilant and take this outbreak seriously. In spite of what Robert Kennedy Jr., our whack job National Health Secretary, has advocated in the past, no vitamins, supplements, or medications can prevent you from getting measles. With this measles outbreak, even Kennedy, a measles vaccine opponent, had to switch up when he saw what was happening. The most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine, he said, in the 3rd paragraph of a lengthy X post, formerly Twitter. Folks, don't gamble with the fate of your family or our community. Get vaccinated. Even wacko RFK Jr. has seen the light and realizes lives are at risk. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Hoops, Heat, The Truth, on demand. Ball Don't Lie is now live on all podcast platforms. Tap in, search WBOK Media, find Ball Don't Lie, and bring the fire with you wherever you go. Download, share, and leave that 5-star review, because the game doesn't stop when the show ends.
The National World War II Museum. Located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans, the National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
The legendary Broadway show is back. The Wiz. The Chicago Tribune raves it's an eye-popping, high-intensity revival and a cause for celebration. The music, the voices, the legend returns. Entertainment Weekly says, run, don't ease on down to this spectacular revival. The Wiz. Playing the Sanger Theater May 13th through 18th. Tickets at BroadwayInNewOrleans.com.
Fresh produce, local flavor, and a healthy you. New Orleans East Hospital is hosting a farmers market the last Wednesday of every month from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us in the parking lot across from the main entrance. Support local farmers and your wellness. We'll see you there.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
The New Schools for New Orleans team would like to send a huge congratulations to all of our graduates across New Orleans public schools. We wish you all the best on the next chapter in your life. Know that you are destined for greatness.
Get in on the conversation at 504-582-9422. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. What time you gotta get up? All right. So, let me tell everybody here real quick what I did. Ms. Scott, I am serious. I am going to call you. That's number one. Then number two, we are going to send this bill, this information to Representative Muscarello. Let me send y'all the information on what I wrote. Said, I would like to know more about this bill that you pulled. That would be great to give us what this fund and what you plan to do, or what was the plan for the fund after you pulled the bill. And for what reasons these people were falsely incarcerated. What would you do with that money? So I am the afternoon talk show host here in New Orleans from 4 until 6, and we would love to know what sparked the idea to get rid of the bill since you wrote it up in the first place. And would you come on the show? Would you come on the show? And if you can, would you let me know? And I'm sending that to Muscarello at his email address right now. So we need to get to the end of some things and give me the information. So that's that. And that's why we gonna do that. There's more, y'all. There's more coming. There's more coming. And we will also send one to Mr. Brian, what's his name? Glorioso, about House Bill 675. We'll ask him about his too. So they coming. All right. So that's going to wrap things up for me. I appreciate everybody for being a part of the show. Enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be good.
WBOK online at WBOK.